Hello, 8th graders. Welcome to week 3 of 8th grade language arts. So we did that kind of shorter writing piece just to get us in school mode and on that life lessons and pieces of advice from the video. So now we're going to switch gears into a full-fledged writing piece, a narrative writing piece. And I'm going to take you through the entire process of this piece, and it's going to be a little bit more, we'll have a little bit more substance to it than the first writing piece that we did. This is going to take a little bit longer. So what I want you to do is I want you to all go to Google Classroom. And if you'll notice on Google Classroom, if you go to classwork, underneath classwork in the narrative writing section, you're going to see your own copy of a slideshow, okay? And it's copy of module 1, and it's going to look like this. All right, so when you take a look at this slideshow, the first slide you're going to see is just a list of the different kinds of narrative writing pieces there are. And then this is where we're going to work on today, on this slide right here, and you will be able to actually type on this slide instead of writing on a piece of paper. And then we're also going to work on this slide here. So like I said, you each have your own copy. If you click on the box, you can see that you are able to edit this. And so this is where you're going to be writing some information based on a video that I'm going to share with you. So the next thing that I want you to do is, and you might have to go back and forth between your screen and this video, but you can pause anytime that you want to. Okay, so the first video that we're going to watch goes along with this slide right here, which is what is narrative writing. And I'm going to let you listen to this video, and like I said, I'm going to start and stop here and there to talk to you about this a little bit. So let's go ahead and watch this video.
All right, let's dive into talking about narrative writing in this first lesson by answering the question, what is narrative writing? Now, before we begin this narrative writing unit, I want you to take a moment to reflect on what you know about narrative writing already. And we're going to do that by completing this narrative writing anchor chart. You'll be answering the following questions. What is narrative writing? What makes a strong piece of narrative writing? What is not included in narrative writing? And then finally, what kind of narrative writing have you done before? So you're just answering these questions based on what you know, based on the information that you already have. So I want you to go ahead and pause this video to answer the 4 questions on that narrative writing anchor chart.
Okay, students, so just as the video stated, now it's time to go back to your slideshow, and there are no right or wrong answers to this. You're just picking your brain because I want to see what kind of experiences you have had in narrative writing and just what you think it is. So I want you to spend a little bit of time answering these 4 questions. And you don't have to write in complete sentences, but just in phrases long enough that I can understand this when you submit this to me. And if you were to explain this to me, you certainly could. So just write enough that I know and you know what you mean by this. So I'll give you a chance to work on this. Again, you can keep this paused, and then when you finish, you can resume this video.
Okay, now that you've recorded your responses, let's come up with a common definition for narrative writing. So as we discuss what exactly is a narrative, we're going to take notes in the narrative writing graphic organizer titled, What is a Personal Narrative? So if you're doing the print version, it's going to look like this. And if you are using the digital version, it will look like this. This is the same activity. So you might need to pause this video as we go along to allow yourself time to record your answers, and that's completely fine. Okay, let's begin. So a personal narrative tells the story of one meaningful event or moment in your life and allows you to reflect on its significance. A personal narrative will also begin with a lead, and we'll learn all about leads. And that lead is something that grabs the reader's attention and is followed by body paragraphs and supporting commentary and details. So that's really the structure of a narrative. A lead.
All right, so students, I'm going to stop you there. If you go back to that slide, you can fill out the first square of the next slide in your slideshow and write down what it said that a lead is. And then in the next square going over to your right, you're going to write down a lead includes. And if you'll listen to the video, you're going to see that a lead includes the introductory sentences of a narrative. Strong writers craft many different leads before settling on one. So again, you can pause as long as you need to get these first two boxes filled in on what a lead is and what a lead should include.
Lead, again, which we'll talk about more in depth in later videos, includes the introductory sentences of a narrative. And strong writers are going to craft many different leads before settling on the one that they love and that they're going to use in their story. And so as the narrative builds toward the climax, each sentence of the story should be carefully constructed to show the reader what's happening, not tell. And it's also going to help move the story along for the reader. And now the climax of the story is where the tension of the action really reaches its most intense or highest part. And then the ending of a narrative should bring resolution to the reader, right? We don't want any questions left unanswered. We want to resolve everything. And the ending also allows the author to reflect on the experience that they wrote about. And the resolution of a story is essentially the end of the story. And that's when all of the conflict is resolved, all of the loose ends get tied up for the reader. So there are a variety of different types of narratives. You don't need to write any of this down. I'm just showing you so you can see how many different types of narratives there are, right? We have fables, realistic fiction, myths, autobiographies, so many more. And though there are all these different genres of narrative writing, they all fall under that narrative writing umbrella. And so we're going to focus on one particular type of narrative called the personal narrative. And so a personal narrative tells the story of one meaningful event or moment in your life, and it's going to allow you to reflect on its significance. So this is what you will be doing over the next several days, is you'll be composing your own personal narrative. We put together specific mini lessons and activities that are really going to help guide you in crafting a pretty quality narrative. I think you're going to be really impressed with yourself with the end product that you produce. So we'll be following a pattern of watching a short video followed by completing a short mini lesson that's going to help you write a really powerful narrative. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. When you're ready, move on to the mini lesson videos.
All right, so 8th graders, that just gives you a little bit of information on what a narrative is. You should have a definition for each of the 6 boxes. A lead, what the lead includes. What is the climax? What is towards the climax? The ending, what should the ending bring? And then the resolution. So again, if you didn't get all of those 6 boxes filled in, make sure you go back to the video and you can pause, you can stop, and write as much as you need to for all of those 6 boxes. When you're finished with this assignment, so you should have the first side filled in and the last side filled in, I would like you to submit this assignment to Google Classroom so I can peek and just make sure that you have all of that done. All right, thank you, and we'll see you next time.